You guys are, by the way, I listen to both of your podcasts, podcast rivals.
Oh, we are.
We are.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
I don't want to
winners.
pick a fight, but I'm curious. Why do you guys believe that you're the most downloaded podcast that exists?
Whoa.
I'm not saying that you're not, but I'm just curious as to why.
Those are
maybe you've heard of a little book called the Guinness Book of World Records.
Wow. Look, his shirt just went up in the audience. Someone's holding up a shirt.
Oh my God! You have there's literally like a shirt
it's
that
official.
says it's because it's in some book.
Too bad you weren't
but where
around.
did they get their data?
Too bad you weren't around in '77. Hey, fat guys on a scooter. What makes you think you're the fattest twins in the land? Hey, lady with the crazy fingernails. How do we know there's not somebody else as well? You know what I'm saying, Ira?
Hey, person with hair down to your knees.
That is one edition of the Guinness Book.
So wait, so if we wanted to challenge you in the Guinness Book of World Records, like how would we go about having a podcast off? Like how would we go about like having?
Well, that was very homoerotic. Kind of a podcast off.
I feel like that'd be a one-on-one.
Your room, 12 bells, podcast off, no room service.
Wait, is this?
Yeah, I don't know what the way.
How's that determined?
Honestly,
how many people download the podcast?
Well, their tally was 50-something million, but that was for the year. That was not for the weekend.
Right. Well, that's a lot.
Yeah, no. Here's how it worked, and here's as much as I know. And Donnie or Mike Lynch, you can shout out if you know the answer. It turned out that who the hell had the record?
Gervais.
Oh, Ricky Gervais had the record, and I said, oh, how many's that? And I said, how does it work? And they send a guy out from England, and they crunch numbers, and they get data, and they do whatever their due diligence is, the same way they would do the fat guy
so
on
all
the
you
scooter.
got to do to kick off the guy who's the number one is you call some guy in England and then you're set.
You call a guy, he crunches the...
I bet you could call that guy.
He crunches the numbers, and then he comes in and does it. Yeah, so you're welcome to do it.
Do you know anyone in England?
Yeah, you got to know a dude in England. Yeah,
another year for us.
And
you drive a motorcycle.
Year be a number. And they put you in the book. They put you in the book, so they can't. You cannot remove you from the book.
I gotta say that is fucking sweet.
Well, because as a kid, we all grew up worshiping that book because we had no basic cable, and that was about it, right?
We all wanted to be that podcast that was listed.
Right. My great grandfather
I just wanted
Hezekiah,
the little pygmy marmosets. Smallest mammals.
Smallest mammals.
It was. I think it was Carson's podcast that was big at the time. But
Yeah, Al Jolson had a big one in the 20s. That was one of the bigger ones. All right. Do you have Ira Glass walked out on stage and it's like one of those things I thought about later on, where he walked out on stage and he went, so you guys are number one Guinness Book of World Records podcast, huh? And I said, yeah. And he said, how's that verified? And I'm like, they just come out and verify it. Like, how? Well, like how they verify anything they verify. Yeah. Oh, I see. And then he goes, oh, so then I could just call them up and come out and do my thing?
Yeah, like what are you driving at, Ira?
That was fairly passive-aggressive because I think it's common knowledge that the Guinness Book is super stringent with their awards.
Well, also...
There's a lot of fact-checking.
This sort of thing, I hate when people do the thing, they go, oh, so you just go ahead and win 4 out of 5 games, you get to hoist the Stanley Cup. Well, maybe I'll do... Oh, that's all. Like, it's like, all you got to do is call someone up from the Guinness Book.
How'd you get the Heisman Trophy?
You just got to run a few yards. No, it's like... Yeah, all you got to do is call a guy up, and then you have to be 2,000 pounds, or you're not going to win the fattest man. I mean, you can call the Guinness guy up to come out and see if you have the longest fingernails, the thinnest waist, you weigh the most.
You got to bowl 200 straight perfect games.
Yeah, but then you have to actually do whatever it is you said you're doing.
The calling is just the first step.
Yes, that was a little nerd rage. Mm-hmm. That was a little nerd envy. And I think, and by the way, there's a lot of people who I'm sure are not happy that this show is doing as well as it's doing. To them,
I just didn't think Ira was one of them.
To them, I say, lick my balls. Because no, I mean, look, those guys think they think I'm a Neanderthal. They think I'm a knuckle dragger who just comes out there and just spews hate against women and everyone of color.
Who's number one?
And Minka, the number one Asian big boob queen. No, here's the deal. And this happens to me all the time.
Okay.
There's a group of people that think I'm just a dope, and I get up on stage and I'm like, yeah, let's drink some beers and rape, and then I have my Dumbo audience go out and they get all fired up. Ira Glass doesn't like the fact that I'm faster than he is and I'm funnier than he is. He doesn't go for that. And that this podcast is more popular, at least according to the Guinness Book of World Records.
He can lick your nutsack, evidently.
No, and I like him, but I know he has his preconceived notions about me, and he doesn't like it.
That said, great guest. Great show.
Great show.
True.
Ira, not
Didn't play ball.
Quick Draw McGraw. I mean,
nice guy.
Nice guy. Nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
What I liked about the juxtaposition
Not super fast.
of you and Ira was just when you said to him, now, Ira, like, your thing is that you don't judge, right? And then he's like, and your thing is that you, or maybe you said that your thing is that you do judge. It's
Right.
just this, like, very different way of getting at stories, and
Yeah.
I like that.
He's a cool guy, smart.
And what are you?
Guys like Ira think I'm an idiot.
Do you think he really thinks that?
I think all those guys think I'm an idiot until they spend 90 minutes with me on stage, and then they figure it out.
Right.
That's the thing. I'm an idiot in most people's eyes until they stand next to me and do whatever it is we're asked to do, and then they find out otherwise.
Then they realize you're like stealth, lightning, quick guy pretending to be an idiot.
I
don't even think you're pretending to be an idiot.
I just am who I am, but they put me in whatever box they need to put me in.
Yeah.
I know it. I'm not paranoid. I know this because I made an independent movie where I was acting in a movie, and every review started with, "Oh my God, this guy can act." Like, what the fuck? And it's like, why wouldn't you think that? I've been on TV for 15 years.
Right.
Why would you think I was this guy or that guy? Why would you think I didn't possess this? Every single time I do a show, or almost every time I do a show, somebody goes, "Oh my God, you're so funny," or "Oh my God, you're so whatever." And it's like, well, I'm a comedian and I've been at it for 15 years. What's the big whoop? I don't get what this. I don't get the surprise element. I like the compliment element. And I know it sounds like I'm blowing smoke up my own ass, but I'm not. I realize people think I'm an idiot and I'm a doofus for the most part, or just kind of like, I don't know. Like I would be the fifth guy on the Blue Collar Comedy Tour or something like that.
Right.
I don't know what they.
I feel like it's that they associate you with the words "The Man Show," but they maybe don't know what that was about.
If you take the Man Show, and because I do the live show and occasionally show some stuff from the Man Show, and you just break down like some of the bits we did, like Drunken Pilots, or we go to Snoop Dogg's house and get stoned, or we do some of our commercial parodies, or Jimmy marries a monkey, or whatever it is, just a bunch of funny sketches. No one would ever say, "Oh, you guys are Mr. Show," because we're Neanderthals. We're not smart guys.
Right.
And they recognize it as us toasting and chugging beers and yelling at the juggies. But it was really just a bunch of sketches, and most of them were funny. That's why people liked the show. If they didn't like the show, if the sketches weren't funny, the show wouldn't have been popular. It was not popular because me and Jimmy got up on stage and went, "Hey, what's a beer? Let's drink some beers and rape." Yeah. Well, that's why the Joe Rogan version of it didn't work.
Right.
They had all that part down. They were just missing the funny in-between part. Yes, that part.
It is interesting how divisive groups of guys can be, because people think of women as being real bitchy and cliquey, but there is such a dude versus smart guy versus whatever other categories there are.
Ira has a little nerd rage. Let's drink some beers and rape! And he was a decent guest on the show, not a bad guest at all, but wasn't bringing it fast and furiously. Not his thing, I understand. But did kind of get out of the gate with the super snarky and what makes you. And the thing that was funny, I was laughing about, too, is his other comment was the T-Mobile chick.
Yeah.
She just stands there and looks hot. It's like, what do you want? One of the fat, balding guys from the tech department to stand there and hold the fucking phone? Yes, she's a model. She holds the phone. That's what people do. That's how it works. You sell cars that way, you sell beer that way, and you sell phones that way. I know Ira's pissed off about it, but Ira, really? Are you that much more evolved than we are? What does she do? What does the Geico lizard do? He sells
He
car
just stands there in a
insurance.
funny accent. And sells car insurance.
Yeah.
And that duck just quacks.
No, I agree with Ira that it's sad, but that is a society we've crafted, baby.
Right.
And, again, all you want to be number one, you just call Guinness and they just come on down. And then you'd have to do 60 million downloads a year, and then you get to be number one.
Easy as that.
As easy as that. Anyway, don't mean to bitch about Ira, but it was a weird way to kind of get out of the gate with it. And it wasn't, he wasn't asking like he was genuinely interested. He was asking with a lot of, and then, well, interesting.
How does that work?
Yes, that's...